All right, today we're gonna cover exercise form and really just dive a little deeper into that. So when we look at exercise form on the internet, usually what you'll find on social media is these like two side-by-side comparisons and saying like this is good form and there's like this green check mark in a box, and then this is bad form, another video, and there's this red X. And I think it leaves a lot on the table, right? I don't think it helps you as an individual, because I think there's a lot more to be said and delivered in that video. I'm not saying they're always bad, right? I think there's a lot of good intent. I'm not even saying I would never film one of those, but I'm just saying I think it leaves a lot on the table for you as the person going through the exercise itself. So first thing we want to clear is a lot of times in the videos you'll see like the red X or the green check mark, and the green check mark, it's like, oh, you're never going to get injured, and the red X is like, if you do it this way, there's going to be issues. I don't like that message. It makes you sound really fragile, and you're not. You're resilient and strong, okay? So we need to clear that off the table. If you do a few dumbbell rows and your shoulder gets in a different position than what's in the video, you're probably going to be okay, all right? We don't want to be like, oh, geez, I got out of position. Is my shoulder gonna, is it still there? You're perfectly fine. You're resilient. You are a strong creature, okay? So moving past that, let's talk about form and let's dive into it a little deeper, and let's go into the real reasons we probably just want to work on it. So first one is you as the individual, okay? So if I have two people and let's say we're looking at like a RDO, like a Romanian deadlift, some sort of hip hinge. And a lot of times you'll see this video of like somebody rounding over, right? That's the red X, right? Don't do this. And then you see somebody big chest and they're going back and there's a green check mark. That might not be what you need. Maybe you're somebody who overarches, right? You're too tall through that movement, and it's not putting you in a really good position to use your hamstrings, or it's letting core getting a little out of position. So if you see that video, now you're gonna even try to maybe overcorrect a position you're already pretty good at. Maybe we need to go the other way. I'm not saying we need to round, but you might need different cues. So you have to realize that the form video you're looking might not be appropriate for you. So where are you starting? What does your form look like? Is that gonna work for you? Or even if you're in a little discomfort and you see that video, you're like, oh, maybe that's my issue. Maybe you need to go get that checked out, either by somebody who can look at your form, or if you're in serious pain, a healthcare provider. But you just have to realize the cue they're giving might not be appropriate for you, okay? I'm not saying don't try it. I'm just saying you need to make sure it works for you as an individual. That's really important, because you might have a different starting place with your form or slash technique, we're gonna get into that in a second, than somebody else, or somebody else they're sort of modeling that video for, okay? So just be aware of that. Form can look really different for different people. The second one, instead of using the word form, let's maybe use the word technique. I know it's like potato, but with technique, I really like that saying because it makes lifting more of a skill. And that's what lifting is. We're gonna create these skills in the sense of the lifts, right? Those are all skills we need to acquire. So we need certain technique to be good at those skills. We want to be efficient with our skills, right? We want to be efficient within the lifts themselves. So that's really what form is. That's what exercise technique is allowing you to do, is become a little more efficient in the gym or in that movement. When you become more efficient in that movement, you're probably going to be able to increase a load, or maybe you can do more sets and reps, right? You can handle a little bit more volume. Both those things are important no matter what your goal in the gym is, all right? So think about technique. So we already went over, make sure the cue works for you as an individual yourself, or that form video is gonna match what you need. And then the second one is technique, right? Thinking about technique instead of form, right? Because that's gonna allow you to be more efficient, and that's what's important. The third big piece of this is intent. So what's the intent of the exercise? So if I'm doing a dumbbell row, how I perform that dumbbell row might vary on a really wide basis depending on what I'm trying to get after. So if I'm working upper back, overworking my lats, that dumbbell row is gonna look really different. So form's going to look different. That's sort of where this like red X or green check mark start to fail, because they don't tell you what the intent of that exercise is. I might be chasing different muscles, even in a squat. Maybe how I set up my squat is gonna target my quads a little bit more, okay? So you just need to be aware of the intent. Or what do you want the outcome of the exercise to be? What's the intent? What's the outcome you're trying to chase? So if I'm doing a squat for maximal strength, I'm probably gonna cut it around 90 degrees. My stance is probably gonna be a little different than if I would choose a lighter squat variation, like a goblet squat, where maybe I'm gonna go a little lower, I'm gonna get some more range of motion, and there's benefits to both, okay? But they both just have different intent. They both have different purposes in your program, so form's gonna look really different. Once again, that's where these sort of side-by-side videos fail, okay? So the three big things is making sure it works for you as an individual, thinking about more as technique, excuse me, so you can be more efficient in the movement. And then also just thinking about what do you want the outcome of the exercise to be, right? Why are you performing it? That's gonna change what the form or the technique should be for that exercise. And then the last little bonus is sometimes if we're pushing ourselves at a very high limit in the gym, okay, maybe we're going the heaviest week of your training block, you might get a little out of position. That's okay. You're probably not going to get injured. You're probably not getting that out of position. And getting a little out of position can give you valuable feedback for next time to know what you need to sort of alter or change. Or maybe you just know how much you can handle at that point in time, and that's a really good thing to know, okay? So that's what, when we look at form, that's what's really important, right? That's what I want you to think through. If you ever have any questions, leave comments below, or you can reach me on Instagram at Patrick Hagen Strength. It's Patrick_Hagen_strength. So you can just reach out to me there also.